chicken yard was pretty much some drive-through chicken joint. This is Howard the Mechanic giving you another homestead update out here in the creek. This is going to be part 2 of an update on the Great Pyrenees dog. I've had them for about 2 years now, 3 of them. Had about 20 puppies along the way. So this is going to be an update on some of the things I've learned. First thing I've learned is it's been the best dog I've ever had. No problems, no trying to break out, no jumping over the fence, no digging out underneath the fence. For the most part, I haven't tried to attack anybody. They do let you know when somebody's there. A stranger would not jump over your fence. Just gonna let you know right now, there ain't no damn way. All the dogs have been good. Like I said in the last video, I did have a little bit of an issue with them eating chickens. One of the biggest things I learned is introducing the dog to the chicken as soon as possible. It helps if you have a mean rooster, so that the puppy, when it is going to play with the chickens, maybe the rooster runs it off, doesn't kill it, but runs it off. So, it's kind of trying to find that balance. Like I said in the last video, I had a problem for a while there, especially when they were adolescent, to where, my chicken yard was pretty much some drive-through chicken joint. I mean, every day there was a chicken missing. They'd play with it to death. Well, was female, that's not a problem anymore. The chickens aren't even scared of her anymore. This one, the male, he likes to play with them to death a little bit. Mostly when he sees one of the other female that I have chasing the chickens, then he'll get involved as far as just trying to get it cornered. They've done a real good job with the snakes and the pest. I haven't had a single thing come on the property. Anything that jumps over the fence gets eaten, including chicken hawks. Chicken hawks lands down over here in the yard, it's done. But they eat that thing and tear it apart. The only thing they haven't eaten is snakes. Possum jumps over the fence, they eat it. Gopher jumps over the fence, they eat. It doesn't matter. Anything that jumps over this damn fence, under the fence, over the fence, doesn't matter, they eat it. They've done a good job, except for the snakes. This one is a rescue dog. I didn't have him but 2 days, and he got bit by a damn snake out here. I was just waiting for the lady that gave him to me to call 2 days later and check on him to see how he was doing. I was going to have to tell her, well, right now he's got 3 legs, He ended up surviving. Sick for 3 or 4 days. Since then, that's one of the few things that they haven't messed with is the snakes. When they see the snakes now, they get that snake cornered and they just stand there and bark. That's all they do. They don't try to eat it, don't try to attack it. I don't know if that's something they learned a lesson on from the last time or if it's a coincidence. Even the last snake I had the other day out in the duck yard, had a copperhead out there, and the dogs had it cornered in the fence and just was barking its ass off. And I could tell just from having it so long, I know when something's wrong. And I went over, sure enough, there's a copperhead in there. I killed it, and I intentionally threw it back over the fence overnight, just out of curiosity to see if they would eat it, and they didn't. For whatever reason, that snake was laying the exact same way. They walked up, sniffed it, and left. And I thought for sure overnight they would eat it or chew on it, but they never did. So there's some good and bad news with the snakes, Had a good time with the puppies. They're the cute as they could be. First female had 10 or 11 of them. 10 of them survived. All of them went to good homes. Second female, not so much. She had too much instinct in her as far as she has no reason to bury her puppies. But just had instinct. She would dig a hole, bury the puppies, or put the puppies in the hole and lay in there with them, and one would get suffocated. So for a while there, if I had like a week period for there where every other day we would discover there was a dead puppy. There's nothing worse than your 8-year-old daughter going out there and to go pet the cute puppies, and there's one of them that's not moving anymore. There's nothing worse. So in her case, we actually had to get plywood, put plywood down the corner of the barn and pin her up just so she could not dig a hole and put those damn puppies in there. I didn't have any problem finding homes for the dogs. If anything, I'd probably say 50% of the people that wanted a dog from me, I wouldn't give them one or sell them one because they weren't prepared for it. You have people that live in the city, they live in apartments and anything else, or they're going to get a piece of property in 2 years, they don't have the right shit. And I would just wouldn't give my address. I would just refuse. I actually had some people getting kind of pissy, hey, I got $200, let me come get one, and I just said, you're not getting one. So that's something you need to do. I play filter out, just as I am. I'm not a breeder, but I would spend my time to try to filter out where the dogs are going, because even though it's not my dog, and at the point where I had like 15, 16, I'm trying to find a home for them, as bad as I wanted to get rid of them, just not to have to feed them all. You want them to go to a good home, because there's nothing worse than somebody calling you 6 months after they get the dog and say, hey man, this damn thing's 100 pounds over here. You didn't tell me, or this thing's barking all night. So that's something to keep in mind. They do bark. They bark at everything. I've had them getting better at not barking at the deer as much. We have a lot of deer that come up to the fence, and they haven't done a better job as far as not barking at the deer anymore. They've just gotten familiar with them. I don't know if they think they're associate them with goats. Because they really don't bark it. That's one of the few things. Hogs come up to, it's a whole different story. Mailmen come up to the house, it's a whole different story. Neighbor drives by on his dirt road in the same vehicle at the same time every single damn day. they're chasing him down the fence line. So that's something to keep in mind. This one in particular, this male has done the best job as far as the goats go. Why he's like this, I have no idea. Anything that's born on this property, he thinks he's the mom. He's over there licking it. And if I had him actually over-exaggerate the situation to where a goat, I had 3 or 4 goats born in a couple of day window, and every time one was born, he'd be over snipping at the mom, scaring the mom goat off, because he wants to lick the baby goat. And he wasn't trying to hurt the goat. In some cases, the goats actually, I had 2 or 3 of the goats that actually warmed up to him. They would actually lay with him at night and cuddle up with him, you know. So, he's doing what he's supposed to do. He's better than the females are, which kind of surprised me. With the livestock, he loves the livestock. I've even had the problem where during mating season, the male goats are running around chasing the female goats, trying to wear them down, if you want to call it that. And especially if it's one of the goats that's his favorite, he's on that male goat's ass, letting it know, quit chasing her. That's my friend, whatever the case is, he's kind of silly in that way. So I've been 100% satisfied with him. If you have any questions, positive, negative, let me know. I can't think of anything else to mention other than how good they are with my family, with the kids. Like I mentioned in the last video, they have been 100% with the kids. And for some reason, any kid that comes up to my house, even they're able to identify a small child. A random small child comes over for a birthday party or something, and they do not bark at the child. So they do have a good instinct as far as ciphering out an adult and a child. A child can walk up to the gate, stick a hand in the gate, and everything's fine. Some stranger does that, it could be bad news. I don't know what they would do. I couldn't say nothing better, more for them as far as them being a good family dog. They're a great family dog. Wouldn't have one inside the house like I mentioned in the last video, because you're not gonna build dust enough. You don't have a vacuum cleaner to run long enough to clean up all the hair off these things. It's 150 down here in August. They've lost almost all their hair except for him, the male. The male's lost the least amount of hair. He has a little bit different hair than the females do. He has a little bit more straight hair. But the females have lost about 50% of their hair. They spend most of their time in the pool, sleeping during the day. They're nocturnal at night, up trying to find something to eat. That's what they do, man. They're great dogs. If you have any other questions, any other comments, hit me up at the bottom, man.